first of 5 meetings this season between the Phoenix Coyotes and Anaheim Ducks, and the first of 3 that will take place here at Honda Center. And it's time for tonight's Keys to the Game. Is brought to you by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. With those, we go to the Anaheim bench and Lisa Hillary.
Yesterday, what are you hoping to get out of that?
Well, we just want to get back to battle, getting our feet moving again and playing fast. That's where we've had all our success years, moving the puck, moving our feet, and getting things going the other direction.
Coaches always preach special teams. How close is this power play to clicking?
Well, it's close. We just got to score. We've had some good looks, and last game maybe we fought the puck a little bit, but we just got to get back to basics, keep it simple, and just get pucks to the net.
Thanks, Bob. Johnny?
Tonight's game is brought to you by, or as I should say, is also being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Welcome and thank you for all you do as we get an icing call off the opening draw. The referees for tonight's game, Mark Jeanette and Denny LaRue. The linesmen are Ryan Galloway and Brad Lazarowicz.
Talking with Bruce Boudreau earlier today, he's indicating to his players that he wants to change the matchup here. He paid particular attention to the Coyotes' blue line. It says one of the deeper blue lines in the league. They've got very, very high-skilled, quick skating defensemen in Yandel and Ekman Larsson, and the Ducks wingers have got to be aware.
Face-off win by the Coyotes deep in the Anaheim zone, and it's Michael Bodker from behind the goal. Feeds it out high, long wrist shot is deflected on the way. That from Zbynek McCulloch. Moving up the near boards, trying to pinch and keep it in was Oliver Ekman Larsson, a very active defenseman, but the Ducks clear past him, and Jakob Silfverberg with a long wrist shot. Mike Smith handles the puck well, and he shows that off immediately, putting it down and clearing it himself.
You got to be careful there. He almost hoisted that puck right over top of the glass.
Out of the barn, yeah. Lovejoy and Fowler, the defense pairing out for the Ducks right now as it's chipped into the Phoenix zone, and Derek Morris back to get it. Morris back in the Phoenix lineup, missed the last game with a groin injury, has missed a couple of games this season because of that ailment.
He's an important player for them because it just seems to me that Keith Yandel is so much more under control when he has Derek Morris as his defense partner.
Lovejoy back in the Anaheim zone along with Fowler. And crisp pass through center off the stick of Penner in behind the goal as it enters the trapezoid. Smith steps out to play it happily. He's one of the goaltenders who was limited when they put the trapezoid in, and you can tell he likes to play the puck.
Well, and the Ducks have to be aware of that. The 2 dump-ins here in the early going. Mike Smith has handled each of them easily, and so the Coyotes have been able to exit the zone. No pressure and no forecheck established as a result. There's a good look at Frederik Andersen, and John off to just a wonderful start in the American League. Again, goals against under 1 so far. And this is a guy that a lot of people think will be playing in the National Hockey League in the not too distant future. Big man, 6 foot 5 inches tall, so he fills a lot of net.
Just turned 24 years of age a couple of weeks ago. Already has a shutout this season in just 2 appearances at the American League level. Sammy Vatanen for the Ducks headmans it through the middle, and Emerson Edom through center will force it deep into the Phoenix zone, and now he pressures McCulloch. 10-year veteran out of the Czech Republic, beat him to the puck, but Anaheim keeps the pressure on, and back to the point, it's Brian Allen. He couldn't keep it deep, and now he's in a little bit of no man's land. He stepped up in the neutral zone, got a stick on it, and then retreated as Doan was right there. Rob Klinkhammer, 3 goals in the last 2 games, dumps it into the Anaheim zone, and Hiller very nearly played it right to Shane Doan. Got a little bit of a break as Boschema steps up to join the rush, but it's slapped away from him by the aforementioned Klinkhammer. Changes for Phoenix just over 2 minutes in. Glad to have you along on a Friday night at Honda Center. Corey Perry's shot is denied by Rostislav Klesla. Klesla's missed 4 games due to a preseason concussion that he incurred in the first preseason game of the year against the Los Angeles Kings. And that's forced him in and out of the lineup. Another veteran presence that Dave Tippett would like to have. Boschema intercepts and rips it just wide as he had to settle a rolling puck.
Yeah, knocked that puck out of midair, stepped in and hammered it, and looked like he had Mike Smith beaten, unfortunately. 6 inch is wide of the post.
Bodker centers, comes all the way through to the line. Long wrist shot off the right pad of Hiller, kicked all the way to the near boards. Good job by Hiller to find that one through traffic. Hansel keeps it alive in the corner as the Coyotes cycle. Centered and intercepted by Fowler, who's off to the races. Area pass off the boards for Penner into the Phoenix zone, and McCulloch got a stick in the way. He is a shot blocker extraordinaire, whether he's doing it with his stick or getting his skates and shin guards on it.
Yeah, and Dave Tippett loves having him back in the lineup. He's the matchup defenseman that he would love to play against the Getzlaf line for the majority of tonight's game.
Winnick trying to tip it into the middle, and Saku Koivu's pass is broken up. Kyle Chipchura, the one-time Duck, has the puck back to the line, and Keith Yandle's shot is off Winnick's stick to the corner. Winnick, a one-time Coyote in his own right. Well, Brian Allen fell awkwardly in the corner there. Chipchura curls away with it. Here comes Yandle. Oh, and a great blocker save by Hiller. Boy, the old backdoor play. Yandle came firing off the blue line, and he was wide open. He's got it again at the point. This time his shot blocked out of the zone by Cogliano.
And there is where Yandle and Ekman-Larsson are most dangerous. Wingers have got to be so alert. They got to get their heads on a swivel, and they can't let that defenseman just have a free lane all the way down to the top of the Anaheim goal crease. Good stop by Hiller.
Ribeiro brings it in for Phoenix, drops it off, and a long wrist shot from Doan misses everything and comes all the way around and back into the Phoenix zone. Klesla handles it there. 11-year veteran, the first ever draft pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets. The one they call Rusty Klesla. Dumped in, the Ducks will get to it first. Lindholm reversed it up the boards, and David Moss is there. Moss knocked down in the corner. And the puck squirts loose into the middle of the ice. Fanning on it for a moment. Korpikoski from his knees keeps it alive. Klesla with a drive, and it's gloved by Hiller.
Hiller's been good early, hasn't he? His best stop was this one right here. Look at Chipchura get away from a check in the corner of Brian Allen, and he spots Keith Yandle. Boy, delivers a perfect strike. And Yandle trying to go up top on Hiller, denied by the left hand. He's a good one, isn't he, Keith Yandle? You look at his numbers, and boy, last season, 10 goals in just 48 games. Prior to that, seasons of 11 goals, 12 goals. So a very consistent offensive threat for the Phoenix Coyotes.
Yeah, he was third amongst defensemen in the league a season ago in goal scoring, but a relatively pedestrian start offensively speaking this season for Yandle, who only has the one assist through 7 games for the Coyotes. Getzlaf backhands a rolling puck into the Phoenix zone. The early going, most of the first 5 minutes has been played back in the Anaheim zone. Allen gets a touch on it at center. Corey Perry picks it up, eludes the check at the blue line. And now the Coyotes will go D to D and regroup. Klesla's pass off Allen's skate. Pick up on the far wing, fired right into the slot, and Klinkhammer got a skate on it as it ended up going wide.
And Klinkhammer got a step on the Anaheim defense, and this is a kid.
Not hard to see why he scores
I guess you
goals.
can't call him a kid, John. He's a guy who's been around the minor leagues for some time, but boy, he's had a good impact on Phoenix here in the early part of this regular season.
Well-traveled, already with his third NHL franchise in just 4 seasons. Played with 4 different junior teams as well. Has been well-traveled throughout most of his career. Palmieri takes the centering pass off the skate as Edom trying to find him in the slot. Not hard to figure out watching Klinkhammer go to the net the way he did a moment ago, though, Brian, why he scores goals.
Well, exactly right. He's a big body. He's bigger than you think. And surprisingly good skater for a guy that's been around as much as he has.
Speaking of good skaters, Cogliano racing into the Phoenix zone as his pocket picked from behind by Radim Vrbata. Vrbata, leading scorer a season ago for the Coyotes, doing it again in the early going this year. Ducks trying to catch the Desert Dogs on a change. Stop and go move by Cogliano to the corner for Koivu, who releases on the puck as he's got pressure. Back to the point. Oshima had to hold the line there, does get it deep. Winnick turns away. Finds the open man, Hampus Lindholm. The 19-year-old defenseman just trying to keep it deep, but it's deflected over the glass and out of play. We'll step aside, scoreless through 6.5 minutes at Honda Center.
Well, finally now some stability at the top in Phoenix. New ownership group, Renaissance Sports. You go back to 1995 when the Winnipeg Jets moved to Phoenix, and there's been a ton of different owners. The NHL has actually operated the team since 2009. And now with Renaissance Sports and Entertainment buying the team, finally stability, and for the first time ever, John, they have gone during the offseason and landed themselves a prize free agent in Mike Ribeiro.
That was a key addition. Ribeiro was better than a point-a-game guy last season in Washington. Here's a turnover. Somebody scores!
doesn't miss very often, this guy, Teemu Selanne, when he has a glorious chance. And Matthew Perreault knows where he is, throws it into an area. And Teemu Selanne getting hacked from behind by Yandel, who was trying to jump into the attack before the puck had left the zone. Yandel gets caught. Perreault makes a play, and Teemu Selanne makes them pay.
4 consecutive games now with points for the Finnish Flash, whose goal was the game winner here on Wednesday. His 108th career game winner. Just one shy of Brendan Shanahan for 5th all-time. And he now has points in 4 straight games, goals in 2 straight games.
It's been a consistent theme for these Ducks at home this year. They have been scoring early, taking leads, and boy, what a wonderful formula that is to be, a dominant home team once again, and that's what the Ducks have been thus far, at a perfect 3-0.
Brian, we talked for so long before Atlanta moved to Winnipeg and became the Jets again about how Teemu Selanne and Shane Doan were 2 of only 3 remaining Winnipeg Jets from before the Jets moved here to Phoenix. There's still 2 of only 3 remaining in the league, and he continues to really just tear up his old franchise, if you will. He now has 38 goals and 78 points in 82 career games against the Winnipeg Phoenix franchise. And we're going to get the game's first penalty here as we get I believe is this going to be a slashing call?
It's the dreaded
slashing the stick. Your favorite
penalty.
My favorite penalty.
Yeah. Cogliano went in hard against David Schlemko and broke his stick in half, and that's now an obvious call for the referee. There it is. Not much question about that. Denny LaRue with the call, and so Cogliano will sit for the next couple of minutes. The Ducks penalty kill has been significantly improved in the last few games. First power play opportunity of the night for the Coyotes.
Yeah, so much has been made of the struggles of the power play unit. It's been lost a little bit in the mix at the Ducks 7 for 7 on the penalty kill in the last 3 games, and 9 of 10 in the last 4 as Getzlaf takes it away from Yandel to begin the penalty kill.
And I think a large part of that has been their success in the face-off circle. You were talking about it during the pregame show, John, and boy, the penalty killers have won so many key draws.
The funny part is the goal they scored here tonight was off a lost face-off in the offensive zone, but puck recovery by Perreault enabling the Selanne goal that came at 6:38. The only goal of the game. It's 1-0 Anaheim. Mike Ribeiro's pass back clears the zone, and Derek Morris rags it for Yandel and heads to the bench for a change. 45 seconds gone in the Phoenix man advantage. 11:35 to go opening period. 1-0 Anaheim as Yandel flips it in. Ekman Larsson behind the net. Fended off. Fowler reverses it right to Antoine Vermette, however. They overload the left side of the zone right now. Vermette now slides it back across, and quickly it's Yandel with a wrist shot that's gloved down on the way by Ben Lovejoy, who then ices the puck.
Jonas Hiller gave Ben Lovejoy a little look there.
I was about to ask you how much you liked it when your defensemen make glove saves.
I love it whenever they stop the puck and they stop it cleanly. It's when it deflects that goaltenders aren't too happy.
Michael Bodker behind the net feeds it to the line. This is David Schlemko. Nice little move to find a little space away from Getzlaf. He and Perry are the forwards out high on the penalty kill for the Ducks. Lovejoy and Fowler down low. Pass into the middle. Verbata has it sliced off his stick, and it's backhanded the length of the ice by the captain Getzlaf, who will go to the bench for a change. 15 seconds remains in the penalty to Cogliano.
That was a great play by Ben Lovejoy. Great read. It was Radim Verbata, who has been a Duck killer, that Lovejoy took that pass away from.
Martin Hansel rims it around. Lindholm gets to it first, ahead to Edom, into the middle of the ice for Bonino. The penalty is over to Cogliano. He's out of the box, and the Ducks are full strength. So the Coyotes have been very good on the power play in the early going this season. Just under 21% come up empty as Vermette tries to go coast to coast. It was Morris, the defenseman, and he stood up, and the puck rolls right to Hiller.
I want to go back to that last defensive play made by Ben Lovejoy. The Coyotes full setup here. Stop it here, guys. And I just want to identify Lovejoy. He's in front of the net. Look where the stick position is. In the inside of his body, he knows they want to get it to Radim Verbata. But the good stick position of Ben Lovejoy allows him to make a real sharp defensive play. that tandem, by the way, Lovejoy and Fowler, two extremely mobile defensemen, has been a nice combination on the penalty kill for Boudreau in the last few games.
Getzlaf tossed from the circle. Ribeiro now to oppose Dustin Penner. And he gets help from Getzlaf, who steps in, and it's a face-off win for Anaheim. Allen with a crisp pass up the middle, and Penner has space. Into the Phoenix zone for Perry. Long wrist shot, and that is in the netting above the high glass and out of play. We are halfway through the opening period. Phoenix has had the only power play. The Ducks have the only goal.
Well, the Flash is heating up. 2 goals in consecutive games. It's interesting when you look at Solani. Look at the head up. Look how close his hands are together on that stick. So he's just watching the goaltender the whole time. He just feels the puck on his stick. And then tonight, very similar. Head up, looks at Mike Smith, picks his spot, executes the shot. One of the greatest goal scorers in the history of the National Hockey League. Solani's got 2 under his belt here in his 43rd year of existence. That's incredible.
But what does it do to this building, too, when he scores a goal? I mean, it can be 6-1, it can be 2-1. He scores a goal, this place just goes crazy. These fans, I don't know if they'll ever love a player again as much as they love Teemu Solani. And the Ducks have done a great job of getting the crowd into the games here at home so far this season. Early goals in all 4 of their home games so far. That might have been the latest they scored at 6:38 of the opening period. A very calm Getzlaf takes it off his skate and clears the zone. Ducks go for a change as Oliver Ekman-Larsson back to get it, just 22 years of age. He led this team in assists amongst defensemen a year ago. He's off to a big offensive start again this year, the Swedish native. Locked up for years to come by the Coyotes. You talked about their ownership earlier, Brian. I mean, that's part of that commitment from ownership. They've been able to keep a core together throughout all the turmoil that they had in all those years before they finally had a full-time owner.
Good block there, boy. Matthew Perreault continues to impress.
He gets it back on the backhand, trickles it through. Smith with a stick to the corner, but Matthew recovers behind the net to Solani. He seems to find number 8 a lot, doesn't he?
8 and number 33. I mean, there's good chemistry with both of his wings.
Schlemko can't win the puck. Perreault with hard work down low, and a tipped shot ends up in the netting above the high glass. That's too bad. They had a tired Phoenix group out there, and that will enable the Coyotes to get a change. This season, when the Ducks score 5 goals or more, fans, Hooters gives you 5 free wings. Print the coupon from the comfort of your own home and head to Hooters, your destination for free wings in Southern California. Koivu, who has led the Ducks in the face-off circle each of the last 3 years to take this draw. This is a Coyotes team that's been top 5 in the league in face-offs 2 of the last 3 seasons. They lost Boyd Gordon to free agency in the offseason, and that significantly changed their situation down the middle. They just went out and signed Jeff Halpern, a 14-year NHL veteran who had been playing overseas. In fact, Halpern, in just his 2nd game as a Coyote here tonight, all he did was go 8 of 9 in the face-off circle in his Phoenix debut against Ottawa a few nights back.
Not dressed tonight, Jeff Halpern, however.
Coyotes into the Anaheim zone. Long wrist shot over top of the goal from the stick of Michael Bodker. Swatted back around, and Ribeiro gets to it. Mike Ribeiro feeds it to the line. Speaking of Ducks killers, the Coyotes have plenty. They add Ribeiro. Here's a guy that throughout most of his years with the Dallas Stars, averaging better than a point a game in his career against the Ducks. And an errant pass up the far boards will be an icing call against Phoenix.
Oh, by the way, I misspoke on Jeff Halpern. He is in the lineup tonight for Dave Tippett. There's a good look at Mike Ribeiro. Career versus the Ducks. That plus 21 rating is the one that really stands out for me. And when you think of the production, 44 points in 42 games, a lot of the damage on the power play. And this is a guy, he has the ability to draw people towards him and make plays.
You and I have talked over the years, Brian. He is a pass first, pass second, pass third option type player. but yet he still gets players to commit to him. And he does get one to the net there. Good effort to do so, and that had to be fought off by Hiller. A bit of a knuckleball. Palmieri with a self-pass off the boards, and that'll draw a penalty as he throws it across. Boschma drops it back. Lindholm went to play it, and I think we got a makeup call that's going to go against Francois here, and this may be an even up situation. The initial penalty was going to go against Phoenix, but let's see what we get here.
Klesla was definitely going to go, and this is the penalty against Klesla. A little bit of a grab on Kyle Palmieri, but then Boschman, after he drops this puck back, he gets, oh boy, gets the glove right up, no question. David Moss is trying to put the hit on him. And that's a little bit of old school right there, Johnny, by the way, that when players are going into the boards and you sense that a player is about ready to bury you with a hit, you get the hands and the stick high. You don't see that as often as you used to maybe back in the 1980s.
So 4-on-4 hockey, as the coincidentals are called, at 13-18. And the Coyotes control. Shots are 6-4 in favor of Phoenix. It's a 1-0 Ducks lead. 6.5 to play in the opening frame. Coyotes return home tomorrow night to play the Detroit Red Wings. Anaheim will close out the homestand here on Sunday against the Dallas Stars. Long wrist shot from McCulloch is gobbled up and held by Jonas Hiller. Fans, you can win a 2014 Honda Odyssey this season on Fan Appreciation Night. You have to log on to AnaheimDucks.com/Honda Odyssey to enter, though, and you must be 18 years of age to play. Vermette steps in to take the draw against Getzlaf, and he wins it. Ekman Larsson across from McCulloch. His shot tipped on the way. Hiller can't cover. Bounces out to Ekman Larsson, and that doesn't get through the mosh pit in front. He gets it back, weaves his way to the far boards. Now for Doan, below the hash marks. Tries a stop-and-go move on Fowler, who stays with him, keeping him to the outside. Getzlaf steps in and takes it away. Fowler jumps up, and now he'll change as Perry, in the neutral zone, plays a little game of catch with Lovejoy, and he fumbles the puck. And Doan races right back in with it. Shane Doan in his 93rd career game against the Ducks tonight. And now Getzlaf felled by the Morris shot. Vermette gets it back. Ekman Larsson toe drags around and then fires short side. Glove save, Jonas Hiller.
All of this chaos starts with a lost faceoff in the defensive zone. And Jonas Hiller, once again, makes it look awfully darn easy. Now let's go back to that last Phoenix scoring chance, and it all starts with an offensive zone clean face-off win. That was Antoine Vermette head-to-head against Getzlaf. Little redirect there by Doan, and then the Ducks can't find the handle. They have difficulty clearing the zone. The Coyotes get another couple of opportunities. They've had 4 quality scoring chances in this game. 3 of them have come from defensemen. Jonas Hiller, he doesn't mind playing against Phoenix either.
Shots now 9-4 in favor of Phoenix as Sammy Vatanen collects it behind his own goal off a face-off win. Still 4-on-4 for another 45 seconds. Allen drops it back, and Bonino's long wrist shot is held by Mike Smith. You were talking earlier, Brian, about the ownership situation in Phoenix. I asked Dave Tippett this morning after the morning skate, is it different now, or how is it different since things are settled? And he quite wryly said, well, I just noticed nobody's talking about it anymore. He said, you know, once we get in that room behind closed doors, nothing has changed for us as a hockey team. But he said it's not the way conversations start anymore.
People probably aren't renting homes as much as they were before. Now, there's a little bit more security for the veteran core players to go out and actually buy a place in Phoenix.
Yeah,
nobody could do that before.
It's been good for the realtors in the Valley of the Sun. Ekman Larsson's pass off a skate comes back outside the blue line, and the Coyotes forced to regroup in their own zone. Both teams down a man for another 15 seconds. Chipped in, and here's Verbata cutting in on his off wing. Tries to go short side, and it's grabbed off again by the glove of Hiller. A little right-handed robbery.
Well, this is the guy that has done so much damage against Anaheim over the years, and Verbata gets in behind the Anaheim defense. But a good little flip of the stick by Sammy Vatanen denies a real quality chance, but It is amazing when you look at Verbata's numbers. On the left side, in his 6 seasons with the Coyotes, you see 121 goals. Not nearly as productive when he was playing elsewhere in the National Hockey League. This is a guy that really seems to have found a home in Phoenix.
His 12th NHL season. He's played for 5 different teams. I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, the Tampa Bay Lightning were so disappointed in his play. They let him go back to Europe and play, even though he was still under contract. They just somewhat washed their hands of him. The next year, he signed as a free agent back in Phoenix, where he's been so good. Hiller, a little trouble off the heel of his stick, so he just smothers that one, and perhaps as unsure a moment as we've seen from Jonas in quite some time.
The Ducks still are not doing what Bruce Boudreau would like them to do, and that is move the puck up ice quickly and get some speed through the neutral zone. I mean, I cannot recall a single hit on a Coyotes defender tonight coming off of an Anaheim forecheck, and that's the strength of this team. They get in on top of opposing defensemen in a hurry. Haven't been able to do it tonight yet.
Puck comes into the middle of the ice, and Jacob Silfverberg brings it to center and backhands it in deep. Solani, offside. That's unfortunate. He and Perreault, had he been able to get to that puck first, would have had an odd man situation deep in the Phoenix zone.
I might agree with Teemu Solani on this one.
Yeah, I
Here's
wasn't
the
too
play
sure.
at the blue line. Remember, the puck's got to be all the way across. You know what? The linesman got that one right. See the back skate of Teemu Solani lifts up off of the ice, and the lead skate's the only one touching it. It's already over the blue before the puck gets across.
It hurts you to say that, doesn't it? The linesman got that one right.
Yeah, I just call it like I see it.
I'm trying to read the body language, that's all. 4 minutes to go in the opening period as Perry takes it at center, gets the red line, chips it in. Penner going in after it. Now he sneaks to the top of the circle and swats one wide after Getzlaf recovered the puck. It's Lovejoy activating to the hash mark, and he finds the captain behind the net, cycles it back. Penner to the corner, McCulloch on his hip. Protects the puck and cycles it back for Perry. Perry to the line, and it's poked away. Diving effort by Klinkhammer sends it all the way back, not far enough for icing. Fowler uses the net to protect himself and the puck. 3:25 to go in the first period with the Ducks on top 1-0. Nice pass and a quick shot. Fired right on by Bonino. Good left pad save by Mike Smith. Smith armed with a 6-year contract extension this past off season. Led the league in shutouts a year ago with 5. Botman does a nice job to win a puck in the neutral zone. Bonino gets it across, and long shot by Palmieri, stick to side by Smith.
Good job by Mike Smith to put that rebound into the corner. Emerson Edom was actually coming from the backside. If he leaves anything lying around the front of the net, Edom would have been able to get a good crack at it.
Smith 8-3-1 in his career against the Ducks, making his 14th appearance against them. Getting a little busier here in the last couple of minutes.
Well, Cam Fowler and Sammy Vatanen started to skate with the puck and carry it through the neutral zone, and this was Fowler with the head up, spotting Nick Bonino. No difficulty, however, for Mike Smith. That's a snapshot from the top of the circle, so not a real dangerous opportunity for Anaheim.
Face off from just outside the Ducks stripe, lobbed in, and Lindholm back to get it. And he has been a defenseman that the Coyotes have jumped on every time he's had the puck so far in this opening period. Long shot from the left point by Klesla, well wide of everything. Off the glass, stays in the barn. Schlemko chips it down low. Martin Hansel slides off the hit of Beauchemin, but Beauchemin gets a puck back, and it's fired from the corner by Verbata right on, and held by Hiller. Now, I talked to Francois Beauchemin this morning, and I asked him how the knee felt, and I said, comparatively speaking to a month ago when you started playing in exhibition games, he said, you know, it's getting better, but he said when the Ducks played those back-to-backs in Minnesota and Winnipeg, he said surprisingly it felt better after the second game than it did after the game in Minnesota. And I guess that's just a sign of the progression he's going through, eh, Brian?
You got to put so much time in coming back from that injury. I mean, prior to the game, to get the knee warmed up and ready, and then your extra strength exercises after every single game, and then the treatments, the ice to keep the inflammation down. I mean, this guy is spending unbelievable amount of hours at the rink every single game in order to continue to be able to play at this level. And he'll tell you, he's about 80%.
Yeah, he has not taken morning skates for the most part this season. A little bit of a new development for him as well. But as you pointed out, Brian, it's not because he's just taking a break. He's in the room getting treatment. He's a very busy man.
Second-team All-Star last season was a real tip of the cap to the year that Francois Beauchemin had. There was a little bit of discussion about his name and the Norris Trophy. He got a lot of votes, by the way, for the Norris.
Well-founded,
yep.
I might add.
Yeah, he had just a terrific season. But, full credit to him. I mean, when I talk to other broadcasters, it's always interesting when I say to them, Beauchemin had his ACL done in May. They look at you like you're crazy. They don't believe you at first that he's playing right now, because very few players come back in 5 months from an ACL.
5 months ago Wednesday, and of course, back it up 3.5 weeks to when he played his first exhibition game in late September. Getzlaf intercepts and sweeps it cross ice. Perry will get to it first. Fowler trailing the play. He'll get the pass, sends it to the net. Got a little redirect from Penner, and it ends up in the netting, out of play.
And Penner's got to be harder on that stick. I mean, he goes to the front of the net there. He's there. He does the work to get there. And Fowler actually delivers the puck into the vicinity. But watch 17 and Black get to the front of the net. He's with a much smaller guy in Ekman Larsson. And Ekman Larsson is able to take his stick away.
Dustin played a season-high 14 minutes, 5 seconds against Calgary the other night. They missed, of course, the game on Sunday with that lower body injury. A couple of goals already on the season, 4 points. And +6 out of the gate for Dustin Penner. Down to a minute to play in the opening period as Yandel forced back in behind the net, chased by Winnick. Now Bodker's pass intercepted by Allen, who waits to get onside as Winnick touches up, and then his shot deflects over the glass and into the netting. 50.7 seconds remains in the opening period.
Now, I go back to the record of the Coyotes against the Ducks in the last few years. The last 8 times that they've beaten Anaheim, they've scored 4 more goals. Bruce Boudreau's primary focus in this game is taking care of business in his own end. So that part of the Ducks game tonight, I think, has been pretty good. They've been good in the defensive zone. Hiller's only had to make, I would say, 1 real good save and maybe 1 or 2 of the difficult variety. But
here's Winnick in the slot. Oh, he comes up with a loose puck, and he gets rocked after he shoots it. Smith made a good save, and Winnick a little shaken up as he jumps up, and Sand's stick will head right to the Anaheim bench.
Yeah, he got caught. Going to be at least, should be at least a double minor here. Watch Daniel Winnick, Cogliano with the pressure, and here's the high stick right in the face by Yandel, and that should cost him, I would think, at least 4 minutes.
And that's what goes up on the board for Keith Yandel. So not only an Anaheim power play, but one of the better defensemen for Dave Tippett will sit. And in the waning seconds of the period, Anaheim with a big chance here, already leading 1-0. Solani, with help, wins the draw. Vatanen at the left point. The right-hand shot gives it to Teemu. Pressured on the half wall by David Moss. Nice pass down low. Getzlaf in front, trying to find Perry, but that was broken up by the stick of Smith. Vatanen keeps it alive. 10 seconds in the period. There's a little urgency. They bring it into the slot. Solani stopped by Smith.
Whoa, nice little feed by Ryan Getzlaf, and Teemu Solani would like to have that one back. He had space. Smith is a big goaltender, but he plays this real deep. He's already down and on the line, which means that the top corners are exposed, and Solani knows he can't elevate the puck like he would have wanted to. Had he, it's probably in the top corner.
7 seconds remain in the period, but the Coyotes able to clear the zone off the face-off. Fowler will skate off the remaining seconds. And when the second period begins, Anaheim will have 3.5 minutes of power play time on fresh ice and a 1-goal lead.
And they've had a couple of opportunities on the power play that have looked assertive and have looked strong. And we've talked a lot about the power play, John, and boy, what a big boost it would give this team if they could score early in the second period with the extra man.
Fourth home game of the season for the Ducks, and for the fourth time, they take the lead to the locker room. Tonight, they're one up on the Phoenix Coyotes as they collide for the first time this season. Teemu Selanne, second in as many games, is the difference thus far. Ducks with a one-goal lead as we head into the second period of play at Honda Center. John and Brian back with you high above center ice in the broadcast booth. And when the second period begins, a huge opportunity for Anaheim as they'll begin with 3.5 minutes of power play time. But first, let's look back and see how we got here.
Well, we'll take a look at our Honda highlights, and it was a good start for the Ducks. A lot of their offense in the first period was generated off of plays where the Coyotes coughed up the puck along the wall. That led to a bid by Francois Beauchemin. Best chance of Phoenix, I thought, in the opening period was this bid by Keith Yandel, flying in off the point. Good stop by Jonas Hiller. Face-off loss for the Ducks, but again, they win a battle along the wall. Perreault gets it to Selanne. He's in alone, and he doesn't miss too many of those. 4-on-4 offensive zone face-off for Phoenix. They win the draw cleanly. It creates all kinds of chaos, forces Ben Lovejoy to make a key block for the Ducks. Cam Fowler got on his horse about the halfway point of that period, and his presence, I think, allowed the Ducks a few generous chances, and then their best chance late against Selanne on the doorstep. Great pass by Ryan Getzlaf.
Let's go down to ice level. Lisa Hillary is standing by with assistant coach Brad Lauer.
Thanks very much, John. Brad, Teemu Selanne just told me, despite being up 1-0, he wasn't very happy with that first period. Do you concur?
Well, I think it's just a feeling out period. I think there was some turnovers that we were fortunate they didn't cost us. That's the biggest thing right now. We're going to make sure we manage the puck very well. If we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Thanks, Brad. Johnny?
Thank you, Lisa.
You know, John, I was about to say, to me, it's speed. It's speed through the neutral zone, and it's keeping the puck away from Mike Smith. The Ducks still, when they are forechecking aggressively, they're a completely different team. They did not get the forecheck established because I don't think they're skating aggressively enough through the neutral zone, and especially away from the puck.
That goes back to Wednesday night's win here against Calgary. Bruce Boudreau telling us between games that he didn't think his team played with the pace they had the first two home games. They start with the extra man. Still over 3 minutes remain in the double minor for high sticking taken by Keith Yandel late in the period. Ducks forced to try to dance a pass on the blue line. That came outside the line, and now Selanne trying to chip it off the boards to himself. Jeff Halpern steps in between he and the puck. Getzlaf trying to recover it on the end boards. Ekman Larsson got it to the line, but not out. Sammy Vatanen is there, and they're set up. Middle of the umbrella on the power play. His wrist shot squirts to the near side. Fowler gets to it first. Behind the net, nobody home but Ekman Larsson. He'll have time and space to pick his shot, and it goes into the glove of Hiller the length of the ice. Minute gone here in the second period. Still 2.5 remains of power play time. Hampus Lindholm from behind the Anaheim goal up the right side. Flipped in by Jakob Silfverberg. Morris reverses it to the point, easily held in there by Kyle Palmieri. Around the boards, Lindholm has to activate as it comes all the way up the near boards. He knocks it away from Klesla. Silfverberg moves it along and back to the line. Palmieri, the forward, manning the point with Lindholm on this second power play unit. Bonino moves it down low, opens up out high. Palmieri thinks better of the shot. Perreault running it off the half wall into the middle. Silfverberg and a stick save by Smith.
A great pass by Perreault.
They work it around the perimeter. Lindholm, side of the net. Bonino goes right into the goal crease. Silfverberg digs it out. Tried to center one off the back of the net. Perreault keeps it alive for Bonino, and he breaks his stick trying to make a pass. Perreault keeps possession, though, as Bonino goes to the bench, and changing over the boards for him is Selanne as he got the new stick. Teemu goes right to the front of the net. Perreault back to the line for Lindholm. Matthew curls off the wall with it. Side of the net, Selanne puts it to the backhand, sticked away by Smith as he just put it in his feet, and that created a little havoc. Coyotes able to clear, and they'll get a much-needed change on the kill with still over a minute of power play time remaining. And an aggressive forecheck. Korpikoski took the puck away, and with help from Selanne, Lindholm got it back. Hampus just chips it to the open wing. Perry drops back to get it. Forced back to Lindholm, and now under a minute remains in the power play as the natives get restless at Honda Center. Lindholm forced to dump it in, and Smith easily plays it behind the goal himself. Off the glass, Hampus Lindholm holds it in. Solani on the half wall. Back to Lindholm. Has space, slides it across for Fowler. Near wall, Getzlaf steps into the middle. Takes a shot, glanced off a stick and went wide. Recovered by Vatanen. He and Fowler out high. Getzlaf off the left wing half wall. Drops it back for Vatanen. Fakes the shot. Hard pass to Getzlaf. Vatanen, middle of the ice. Winds. Has his shot blocked. Didn't get much on that. Lucky to get it back. Saucers it to the captain. Off the skate to the stick. Side of net. Solani right through the goal crease. In comes Fowler, and that's blocked. Korpikoski can't clear past Vatanen. The open man is Perry, and his shot pass is tipped wide by Getzlaf. The penalty is over to Yandle. He's out of the box. Phoenix full strength as he centers it hard right through the slot. Rifled right back through, and it'll come around and out. Here's Yandle one-on-one. The other way, working on Vatanen. Takes the shot, and it drifts over top of the net. Halpern swats it in. The Coyotes go for a change.
Well, that's kind of been the story of the power play this season, John. They get a couple of glorious opportunities. Just can't find the back of the net. Good stop. Big stop by Mike Smith right on the doorstep.
Edom shovels it in and goes hard in after it on the forecheck. Schlemko makes a couple of moves to get away. Martin Hanzal releases on the puck, gets it to the net. Not much on it. Sticks to the corner glass by Hiller. Allen wanted to reverse it, but big Martin Hanzal just stepped into him. And down goes Hanzal with a little help from Allen. He can't draw the call. Schlemko holds the line. Gets it down low. Hanzal with 5 assists on the season leads the Coyotes as he gives it back to Vrbata on the near boards. And it's just battled out by Beauchemin, and that'll force the Desert Dogs to get onside.
Yeah, good recognition there by Beauchemin, who follows his check all the way to the blue line and manages to get the clear.
Vrbata gets it back. Here's Chip Chura, and a blocker saved by Hiller. He gets it back to the front of the net. It's intercepted and skated out of harm's way by Edom, who tries to chip an area pass ahead for the flying Cogliano. Ducks changing right off the bench. Lovejoy with a one-timer, and Smith handled that. A little bit of pond hockey as up and down we go all of a sudden. Rivero has an open man. It's David Moss. His shot off the stick of Fowler and wide. Rivero gets it back. Chip Chura digs it out of the corner. Chip Chura has set up perhaps one of the best chances for Phoenix back in the first period when he found Yandle, and he just had perhaps their best chance since then. Ducks 3 abreast through center. Spin move by Perry, but he lost the handle. Penner behind the net, trying to get it away from Ekman Larsson. 2 of them have it in their skates. Knocked loose by Getzlaf. Perry gets enough of it so that Penner can handle it. Up the wall, Klinkhammer just clears it out of harm's way. Lindholm didn't see it. Now he finds it. As he goes back after it, no icing as he fanned on it and then got it back behind the goal. Hits the brakes, loses an edge, lost the puck. Korpikoski centering pass off a skate. Penner touches it for Solani. He's in full flight. Teemu pulls up in the zone. Into the middle, and Lindholm with a quick snapshot as he was being hit. And the puck off the stick of Smith off the glass and out of play. Fast start to the second period, still 1-0.
Well, the Ducks with a couple of good opportunities moments ago. Teemu Solani gets his puck down low, walks it to the front of the net, looks for Corey Perry. Boy, that's a good stop by Mike Smith with the left leg. And you go back to the Anaheim power play and just look at Derek Morris. The Ducks going to work on Morris. Watch his head. As soon as they feel he's distracted by the player down low, Nick Bonino, they slip it into the middle to Jakob Silfverberg, and that's what good power plays do. They try and create 2-on-1 situations. In that case, it was actually 3 players all working against Derek Morris that generated a real good scoring chance for the Ducks.
7 shots on goal during that 4-minute power play for the Ducks and 5 quality scoring chances. Here's Solani, quick one-timer on a great pass. Oh, and Vatanen found him, and Smith lost track of it. It squirted out, and he was living right there. Vatanen wires it right back in, and Smith swings and misses with his stick. Perreault unable to get the handle off the near side boards. Allen turns and very nearly took the head off of Ryan Galloway, the linesman. Boy, Smith looks awkward the way he handles that stick, doesn't he, Hazy? But most of the time, he's very adept with it.
You know what? He reminds me of a couple guys that played during my era that they overhandle it at times. And for all the good that they do, one mistake and they're pulling a puck out of the back of their net.
Fowler wanted to pass it to Solani, but he was changing. And now the loose puck rolls all the way wide of the Phoenix goal. They're going to rule this one icing, and Cogliano's upset. He thought he had the inside step to nullify that call.
Yeah, it's going to happen a lot where the hybrid icing and the referees and the linesmen, have that discretion. Here's that one-timer by Teemu Selanne, and then, Selanne almost pokes it into a wide-open net. Emma's got the good first step going tonight, John. He looks quick when he jumps off the bench. He looks energized and fresh.
Well, he talked about it 2 nights ago when he got that first goal, the old ketchup bottle analogy. We know he scores them in bunches. 2 in 2 games for Teemu doesn't necessarily mean a bunch by his standards, but a 4-game scoring streak now for Solani. He has the game's only goal tonight, 1-0 Anaheim as we approach the halfway mark of the hockey game. 12.5 to play, second period. And Fowler starts from behind his own net. Last couple of games, Fowler's really been skating well, hasn't he, Brian?
His game is getting better. I really think that Cam Fowler, when he starts skating in straight lines in particular, when he gets the puck on the stick, he becomes so much more effective. Has a tendency still to kind of move laterally when he gets the puck, which everyone will tell you makes a defenseman vulnerable to having his pocket picked.
Good read there by Winnick, who stepped up in the neutral zone to break up a pass at the Anaheim blue line, forcing the Coyotes now to regroup. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson swings it around and in. Lindholm with pressure, hit by David Moss, quickly moved along by Boschema. The Ducks away 3 abreast. Palmieri, who got his first goal of the season on Wednesday, chips it to the corner and then battles Klesla. Edom trying to center for Bonino, and that was broken up at the last minute.
The Ducks playing with a little more pace here in the second period, and they are, for the most part, keeping the puck away or more frequently from Smith.
Schlemko, right point, slides it across. Ekman-Larsson forced to fire it wide. Off the end boards, Lindholm wins the battle with 2 different Coyotes, Ribeiro and Moss. Up the boards, Palmieri couldn't clear. Boschema has backside pressure from Ribeiro, so he reverses it away. Off Lindholm's stick, it came right in front, and Doan is turned away by Hiller.
The Coyotes on the forecheck, and they get a turnover. Watch Francois Boschema reverse this puck. It goes around the dasher board, off Lindholm's skate, right to the top of the goal crease, and that is a big save by Jonas Hiller. You can see that Shane Doan all the way. He's thinking 5-hole. He's trying to put it between the wickets of the Anaheim netminder, and that puck rolls on him a little bit. It gets it up just a hair too high.
Doan needs only 1 point to pass Tomas Steen for the number 2 spot, all-time in franchise scoring history. And he only needs 1 more power play goal for 100, and he may get a chance here because Anaheim's going to go shorthanded. Sammy Vatanen will go to the box.
It looked to me, John, like he got his stick in between the feet of Klinkhammer. Watch his stick onto the back of the leg, and actually Klinkhammer's skate goes into the bottom of the dasher board. That helped him go down to the ice. So that's a tough call against Sammy Vatanen. Tripping penalty against him. And the Coyotes now with a power play chance to get right back in this game.
Second minor penalty taken by Vatanen this season. And it results in the second power play of the night for the Coyotes. Face-off to the left of Hiller, controlled by Phoenix. They had the better of the face-off circle in the opening period. Bottker moves it down low, wired right through the crease and out of the zone by Hansel.
Well, their first power play of the game. They only actually had the puck with possession in the Duck zone for 15 seconds. And that is not what Dave Tippett is looking for.
Bravada trying to chip it in, but it went off the skate of Fowler. And a regroup now in process for the Coyotes. Oliver Ekman-Larsson carries the mail, tries to chip it in, knocked out of midair by Winnick, who pitchforks it back through neutral ice.
Not sure how that was not a high stick.
It did look like one.
Winnick knocked that puck down.
Great job on the back check by Edom as he came off the bench, intercepted, and quickly moved it ahead to Cogliano. Here's Edom, and he's tripped up by Schlemko. Fans want a call, they won't get one, and back come the Coyotes. Allen delivers the hit in the corner. Vermette comes away with the puck. They work it out high. Yandel looking for a shooting lane. Hands it off. Comes right to the goal mouth. Swatted away by Allen as Verbata got it from Ribeiro. Now Ribeiro sets up Vermette. Again, they work it on the perimeter out high. Here's Ribeiro all the way to the ladies' tees, and that's blocked down. Edom racing after it, but Ribeiro beat him to it. Now it's kicked out of the zone by Cogliano, who's at the end of his shift, so he wisely just ices.
And Emerson Edom got caught out of position there on the penalty kill, and too much time and space for Mike Ribeiro to walk in and just unload. And Jonas Hiller, boy, he is just so in the zone right now, John. Everything looks effortless for Jonas.
Now it's Morris carrying the mail. 4 points in his last 3 games when he's been in the lineup. Derek Morris, the 16-year veteran. Looking very fluid out there. The penalty is over to Vatanen. He jumps out of the box. The Ducks full strength. And there's one tipped in as the power play was ending. Yandel triggered it. And at the far post, the redirect ties the game. Vermette draws the Coyotes even.
Yep, a nice looking play. A little space. You can see Vatanen can't get back into the mix. Corey Perry went for the block. And then the redirect from almost on the goal line. And Jonas Hiller that time draws a little bit too far towards the top of the goal crease. And does that puck go through Hiller? It almost looked like it went 5-hole. Antoine Vermette, second of the season. It's not a power play goal, even strength, but the Coyotes have tied this game up.
Vermette led the Coyotes last season in the lockout shortened campaign with 13 goals. This one ties the game. Just past the halfway mark of the hockey game, we got a brand new game, as even as they get. Shots on goal, 19 apiece, tied at 1 as Vatanen was knocked down at the line. Nearly created an odd man rush, but it's poked away, and a good defensive play by Allen. Back come the Ducks. The trailer is Vatanen, and his shot blocked on a good recovery by Halpern. And Halpern caught from behind by Penner through the neutral zone. Ducks come up with it, and Fowler stretches it all the way to Perry waiting at the blue line. He takes the hit and dumps it in. Schlemko reversing away from Perreault, and Solani nearly stripping it at the line, but Lovejoy chases it behind the net and turns it over to Doan, and a sharp angle shot from Klinkhammer is held by Hiller. Well, we hit the reset button at Honda Center. Brand new game.
Welcome back to Honda Center. The score 1-1. Corey, going forward, will it be imperative to take away time and space from this Coyotes team?
Yeah, they're a quick skating team, and they like to play with the puck. If we take away, start on the neutral zone, take it away, not let them skate the puck into our zone, we'll be all right.
Thanks, Corey. Johnny?
Thank you, Lisa. Corey Perry and his twin there, Ryan Getzlaf, have made hay against this Coyotes team in years past. They've been held in check so far tonight.
They have not been able to get in on top of the Coyotes defense and really control the puck along the boards, which is, I think, especially when they have Penner playing on the left side, is, the A part of their game.
Fowler moves it from behind his own goal. Under 8 minutes to go, as this puck's going to roll right through the goal crease, and icing is called against the Ducks. The Ducks will be hosting Hockey Fights Cancer Night, presented by Loma Linda University, this coming Sunday. That's 2 nights from now. The first 3,000 fans receive lavender awareness ribbons to show your support. For more details, go to AnaheimDucks.com/community programs. That will be Anaheim's final home game of the month on Sunday, as the following day they will leave on a 15-day road trip. Perreault with speed gets the pass at the line, and his bid is kicked away by Smith. One and done, however, for the Ducks, as Beauchemin back in his own zone, forced to just use the boards to clear.
There's just a lot more pressure being put on the Anaheim defense, John, than there is on the Coyotes defense when they handle the puck in this game.
Perreault in the middle of the ice, forced to curl it back and goes rink wide. Francois Beauchemin gains the line, winds and fires, steered aside by Smith. Mikhail Bodker starts back, chips it to himself in the neutral zone, then gets it in deep, puts pressure on Lindholm and wires it around the boards and away. Bonino in full flight with Edom. Coyotes were changing. They take turns passing the puck to one another, and then Bonino spun around by Moss. Good job at the line by Vatanen, who stepped up to keep it in. Now he has to hustle back defensively. Intercepted by Edom, who gloves it down and brings it in. Hard pass across. Intended for Bonino. He kept it in the zone after Yandel got a piece of it. Palmieri swings it below the goal line where Morris gets it from his netminder. Ribeiro headmans through the neutral zone, gets it back. Drops it for Moss, kicked aside by Hiller. And Edom gets the legs moving. He's at the end of a shift. He's a little bit tired as he chips it in. And no icing as it didn't quite go far enough. So that's a break for the Ducks, who are able to get fresh troops over the boards. Under 5 to play in the second period. The only goal scored by Antoine Vermette at 11-11 of the period from Yandel and Ribeiro. We're tied at 1. Here's Penner. He's got Perry with it, who'll take the shot, and Smith holds that.
That was a good decision by Dustin Penner to take that shot. Better stop by the goaltender Mike Smith. Ryan Getzlaf actually banks it off the boards to himself. Little tip pass, but Mike Smith is there once again.
Brian, we have half of the top 6 consecutive games played streak leaders in the league on the ice here tonight. Andrew Cogliano's never missed since he entered the league. Antoine Vermette brought over his consecutive games played streak when he was obtained from Columbus. And Keith Yandel has the longest game played streak in franchise history for the Winnipeg Phoenix franchise. Something to be said as a coach for knowing that a guy's going to be there night in, night out, isn't there?
It's kind of interesting, isn't it, when you hear about how much more the Western teams travel than the Eastern Conference
that's a
teams.
great point.
And yet there's a whole bunch of guys on that consecutive games played list playing in the West.
Yeah, Bouwmeester and the Sedin on there as well. So, you know, we talk about teams that may be affected by the increased travel. How about the Detroit Red Wings and Columbus Blue Jackets and the benefits they may get from the decreased travel of now being members of the Eastern Conference based on what they're accustomed to? Regardless of the schedule, no way those teams will travel as much as they had when they were members of the Western Conference. Tied at 1 here with under 5 to go in the second period as Perry tries to make a move on Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who plays the body nicely. Penner tries to get in on the forecheck, but it's played around and chipped ahead. Here's Chip Chura, gets inside on Beauchemin, and he can't get much of a shot away as Francois wouldn't quit on the play. Halpern comes in, spins with it, the one-time captain of the Washington Capitals. Keeps it alive for Chipchura.
John, you and I talked about Kyle Chipchura last season and how we could not believe the difference in foot speed with Chipchura from one season to the next. Very noticeable last year, and he just showed a great burst going wide on Beauchemin.
They rewarded him, did the Coyotes, in the offseason with a 3-year contract. He's reaching for the puck at the blue line, and down he goes, and I believe he draws a penalty here. A holding call, it would appear, that's going to go against the Ducks.
This is a tough call against Jakob Silfverberg, but he takes one hand off the stick, and that's a grab. One hand and a reach, and the penalty to Silfverberg, and that's not a good penalty for Silfverberg to take. At this stage in the game, it just seems to me that the Coyotes have a little bit more jump in their step. Again, I go back to the amount of pressure that the respective defenses are dealing with. The Ducks have done a good job dealing with pretty significant pressure here from Phoenix in the second period.
Coyotes 0 for 2 officially on the power play, but remember that goal they scored came just seconds after the power play had expired. So here's Yandel, who set up that goal with a wrist shot that is not deflected on the way and held by Hiller.
And we talked about faceoffs at the start of tonight's game, and the Coyotes are dominating in the faceoff circle tonight. So here, you know, in a tie game where special teams are so important, they're starting every shift with possession. That time Koivu wins it against Hansel.
Before that, the Coyotes had won 65% of the draws in this game. Down a little bit from their numbers in the first period, but not much. 3:45 to go, middle period. Bravada's pass broken up and bounces away from Beauchemin, and Mikhail Bodker has it dug out of his feet by Francois, who swings it around. The extra man on the ice, though, it's Oliver Ekman-Larsson that gets to it first. Bravada keeps it on the base of the dasher. Yandel holds left point. Down low, big Martin Hansel, and he is dispatched by Brian Allen. Well, the 13-year veteran showing off his strength there because Hansel is a large human. Puck chipped in the air. Koivu trying to settle it. Can't clear past Bodker. Knocked it loose. A diving effort by Winnick. Ekman-Larsson skates away from everybody hard into the slot, and Hansel was falling down and couldn't get it on net, and it's just battled out by Winnick.
The Coyotes doing a good job keeping a puck in, but I'm looking at Marty Hansel, and he is hurt going over to the Phoenix bench.
I think it might be that hit by Brian Allen behind the net. Schlemko, left-hand shot from the right point, thinks better of it. Now throws it away. It's Allen who broke it up. Cogliano can't get to it. Schlemko works the line. Shovels it over. Yandel takes it off the boards. Schlemko, one-timer, and that glances off a stick to the high glass. Fowler and Vermette go after it. 15 seconds left in the power play. Doan digs it free. Yandel again across for Schlemko. Yandel throws it to the net, and it's held by Hiller. Parked in front was Shane Doan.
Shane Doan upset with himself for allowing Jonas Hiller to see that shot. But boy, great offensive zone time here for Phoenix. I mean, the Duck penalty killers have got to be just exhausted. See that Doan did not get a touch on that puck. He knows if he gets a little piece of it, or perhaps it gets in behind Jonas Hiller.
Face-off win for the Ducks. This one controlled by Bonino, who goes to the far boards to help and tries to clear, but it goes off Ekman-Larsson and out of play. The penalty is over. Silverberg out of the box, and the Ducks are now full strength.
You know, this feels a little bit, John, like the third period against the Calgary Flames the other night.
Yeah.
Anaheim just kind of hanging on, defending, not really mounting much of an attack against Mike Smith whatsoever.
Well, this might be one of those situations where the next 2 minutes and 5 seconds can't go by fast enough for Anaheim. Might be content to try to regroup and get it to the locker room tied. Another penalty coming up here. This one's going to go against Phoenix as the Ducks three abreast into the Coyote zone. Nice pass to Lindholm, who joins the rush. His pass back goes off of Larson and nearly right into the goal crease. That was chaotic, to say the least, for a moment for the Coyotes, who are about to go shorthanded.
Yeah, it was a big hit by Bodker on Ben Lovejoy in behind the Anaheim bench. And that's why Bodker's going to go. And here's a look at the penalty. Lovejoy moves the puck. And it's going to be called a charge, and then you know, more than 3 steps, and you can be called for charging on the play. That was that rush up ice, boy. Hampus Lindholm a little bit too generous on that, John.
Another charging call on Korpikoski.
Excuse me, I thought it was Bodker. Yes, Lori Korpikoski
Gives the Ducks their third power play opportunity of the night. 0 for 2 with just $1:48 to go in the second period. Solani, Getzlaf, Perry, Vatanen, and Fowler, the power play unit, as Smith gets a stick on it and Vatanen runs it down off the draw. Nice pass back to Solani, gets it across to Getzlaf. Head up all the way, finds Vatanen. His shot, kick, save, rebound. Solani is turned away by Smith.
Well, I tell you what, Solani is going to be shaking his head after this game. A good puck movement there from the Ducks. It moves side to side very quickly, which really makes life tough for the defensive players. Fat rebound for Solani. Boy, what a stop by Mike Smith. I mean, he got his shoulder on the bid. Solani knows he's got to go up top. He actually elevates this one, but Smith is there with the right shoulder.
Face off to the right of 31-year-old Mike Smith. Getzlaf now gets it. Right back from Vatanen. Brings it into the middle. Solani right through the crease trying to find Perry. Fowler races after it. Works it down low. Perry tangled up with Ekman-Larsson. Falls over him. Moss comes in. And a penalty coming up to Corey Perry as he gave McCulloch a shot. And as the Ducks touch up, we will go 4-on-4, and that'll nullify the remaining minute 22 unless we get more here.
Yeah, Corey Perry is going to go for cross-checking. He knocks McCulloch down from behind, and here's a good look at it. Watch, McCulloch hasn't touched the puck Perry, not much of a cross-check, but it's a cross-check, and it's going to cost him 2 minutes. Perry unhappy with that call, but he'll sit for 2. So we got 4 and 4 coming up. Offensive zone face-off here for Phoenix. The difference for me, John, that last power play looked good for the Ducks. Ryan Getzlaf used his feet to win a face-off, overpower the opposing centerman, and Anaheim actually had a couple of chances.
Face-off with the penalty comes all the way back to the right of Hiller. 4 on 4 for the second time tonight. Played a full 2 minutes of it in the opening period. Shane Doan working down low. Lindholm lost his stick. He goes back to get it as Anaheim gets possession, and he'll get away with that as it's cleared out center ice.
Yeah, it was funny. He dropped his stick, and then the puck went around the boards. Shane Doan was going to corral it and actually hit the stick that had been dropped on the ice and allowed the Ducks to get possession.
Morris flips it in wide of the Anaheim goal. Boschma looks around, reverses it quickly. Nice hard, crisp pass by Lindholm, and Perreault sends Silverberg up left wing. Right-hand shot, pulls it in. Boy, sent it just wide of that far post. Lindholm activates, gets a stick on it, but can't get possession. Final 20 seconds of the opening period is Derek Morris. Takes his time, finds his opening, dumps it in, and Lovejoy gets the feet moving. Ahead on the wing, not ready for it was Fowler. And the Coyotes control perhaps one last rush. 5 seconds in the period as Yandel turns on the Jets into the Anaheim zone, takes a wrist shot, blocked by Lovejoy, who taps it to the end boards, and the second period is complete. A brief Coyote power play will come just 12 seconds into the third period as we are all square through 2.
Well, the Phoenix Coyotes, to me, territorially had the better of that period for the first 15 minutes. Anaheim had a couple of chances late on the power play, but it's still, there has not been the kind of sustained pressure that Bruce Boudreau was looking for in this hockey game.
It's a 20-minute game at Honda Center. Jonas Hiller has been very good. 23 saves thus far in this one, but the only one to get past him came in that second period, just moments after a Phoenix power play had concluded. As a result, tied at 1 after 2. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Anaheim Ducks is expressly prohibited. A 1-1 tie at Honda Center as we approach the opening face-off to begin the third period of play. And in the meantime, we take a look at tonight's AT&T Rewind from yesterday. Shades of the Stanley Cup Finals in the mid-'80s. It's the Oilers and the Islanders. But it's Taylor Hall, not Wayne Gretzky, who would score twice in a span of 8 seconds in this game to give Edmonton the lead, and in the process break the franchise record set by Wayne Gretzky back in the 80s with the Edmonton Oilers for fastest 2 goals in a game. Congratulations to him. The Ducks don't need him fast, Brian. They just would love at least another one.
Well, this is the guy that's been by far the most dangerous Anaheim player tonight, Teemu Selanne. He's had a boatload full of chances. Made good on his very first scoring chance of the game. And then from that point on, it was Mike Smith that got the better of that little head-to-head confrontation. Selanne's been quick on the attack. And what I like about Teemu is that we've talked about Jakob Silverberg and the fact that he does not cradle the puck. When it comes to him, he just puts it on the net. And the same could be said about Teemu Selanne. When you release that puck before a goaltender has a chance to get set up, you really enhance your chances of finding a hole. Got a lot of holes tonight on this big fella.
Selanne approaching 1,400 career games played. Doesn't appear to be slowing down. 5 points in 7 games so far this season, and still a period to go in this one. In 12 seconds, Phoenix will have an abbreviated 39-second power play as we begin the third period with the teams skating 4 aside. Yandel off the face-off win, drifts back, and is content to set up the power play that will begin now as Korpikoski steps out of the box. Ribeiro is the trailer through neutral ice and into the Anaheim zone. He lays it off for Ekman Larsson. His pass hops the stick of Ribeiro and is swept out of the zone by Brian Allen. Maybe time for one more rush on the power play. I said it would be an abbreviated one for the Coyotes. It's their 4th man advantage of the night. Ribeiro again to Korpikoski across the line. Winnick slashed it off his stick. Gets it into the middle, and Koivu wastes no time to ice it. under 10 seconds now in the penalty to Corey Perry.
The Ducks doing a good job really protecting their blue line and not allowing that easy entry for the Phoenix power play players.
Puck comes right through the crease. Icing is the call as Perry steps out of the box, and Anaheim full strength. Still time to become a season ticket holder or a mini plan holder, and if you do, you'll get priority access to the 2014 Coors Light NHL Stadium Series, which will see the Ducks and Kings play at Dodger Stadium in January. For more information, go to AnaheimDucks.com. So 5 aside, not yet a minute in to the third period as Getzlaf wins the draw. Drops it off for Perry, side of the net. Penner brings it right into the crease, and he gets hit by Yandle. Fowler keeps it in the zone, across for Lovejoy. Wrist shot. That hit Penner falls right in front for Perry. His backhander missed. Smith was down and out. Getzlaf gets it back, throws it right into the crease. It ricochets out to Lovejoy. Perry behind the net, moves it quickly. Getzlaf looking for Penner. He lets it come through. Lovejoy winds and fires. Big rebound, and that thing pinballs away from Smith. Lovejoy, one glove to the ice at the right point to hold it in on the half wall. Getzlaf. He gets it to the net, and again, spitting a rebound was Smith.
You talk about living right. Mike Smith spit 3 rebounds out on that shift, and none cost him.
And that shift looked more like an Anaheim power play than a few of their power plays have looked in this game, albeit 5-on-5.
You know, the one thing that was very evident there was Dustin Penner, who was stationed in front of the net for long periods of time and kind of really distracting the Coyotes.
Allen below his own goal line around the boards for Daniel Winnick. Winnick battles it out of the zone. Klesla brings it back in, winds and fires. That's off the glove of Hiller. Backhanded quickly by Allen. He took a bump to make a play. Vatanen, a nice outlet pass right on the tape for Winnick, who gets his own rebound off the corner boards, had his stick hooked away. Well, that was another example of Sami Vatanen with that outlet pass. Not only was it a good-looking outlet pass.
Oh, boy, the Ducks got away.
Looked like they had too many men on the
now
ice.
Now they're going to call us.
Did they call it? Or did they? Yeah, the referee called it from well behind the play. You could hear the Phoenix bench barking. And you can hear Teemu Selanne barking as well.
And Ryan Getzlaf saying, why did you not make the call so late? I mean, it was too many men on the ice.
Yeah, they're upset because they believe Jeanette is reacting to the Phoenix bench here.
Yeah. And here's the Ducks. You can see a player getting onto the bench. That was Cogliano, and Teemu Selanne had jumped over the boards. But Ryan Getzlaf incensed because the call went 3 or 4 seconds until such time as Dave Tippett and the rest of the Coyotes bench started yelling. Here was that chance for Corey Perry. My goodness. I think Mike Smith is going to get a piece of this rebound right here. Watch this. Perry goes to the backhand. Smith is going to lunge with the blocker. Yeah, he gets a little piece of it with his arm. What a stop.
So now a full 2-minute complement on the power play for the Coyotes. Their 5th man advantage of the game, and Vermette wins the draw. Doan out of the corner. Hard pass into the middle, and that comes to the line, and I don't think that came out. But Ryan Galloway whistles it down as offside. So that lobbying, if you will, that we saw the Ducks doing after the penalty call. And now it's the Coyotes who have to reset the power play.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson, that was him at the point. He and Cam Fowler are the 2 workhorses in this game, both at about the 17.5-minute mark entering the third period. So they're going to be up into the 24, 25-minute mark before the end of this one.
It's nothing new for Ekman-Larsson, who averages just a shade under 24 a game already this year. Fowler, on the other hand, doesn't usually play quite that much, although he played over 24 minutes against Calgary here on Wednesday. Yandle with a shot pass. It goes off of Winnick, who recovers and gets the bounce off the stanchion. Yandle back to get it. Minute 10 to go on the power play as he stretches it to Ribeiro. Couldn't sneak it through to Vermette, not cleanly at least, as Lovejoy got a piece of it. Quick puck movement, and the man at the point is Yandle. Now for Ribeiro, who curls off the boards behind the back. Yandle tried to fake the one-timer, and his shot pass was broken up by Edom, who now gets it up the boards. If he can run it down, he could have had a 2-on-1 with Cogliano, but he couldn't get there.
Too bad. And in that tandem again of Cogliano and Edom, that speed can really act as a deterrent to a power play.
Edom had a couple of shorthanded points a year ago. He's the only rookie in the NHL with more than one. Morris with a shot from the point, blocked on the way, and it knuckles back to him, and that puck wouldn't settle down for him, so you can see the aggression from the penalty killers. Schlemko sneaks down from the left point. He'll be forced to retreat as the Ducks force it to the line. Morris's shot went off the skate of Lovejoy. Comes around, tipped on the way. Hansel has a couple of swipes at it. Killer couldn't cover. And Cogliano is going to pick up a slashing call.
Second one of the game.
Yeah, he saws Verbata's stick in half with 10 seconds left on the initial penalty. And Cogliano frustrated as he goes to the penalty box.
Well, it's a penalty. There's no question about it. I mean, you're on the power play. Here's the chop, and boy, he brings that stick blade above the shoulders before he chops the stick to Radim Vrbata.
Cogliano had no penalty minutes coming into the game. He's picked up a couple of minor penalties, and now the Ducks 2 men down for 10 seconds, so this face-off becomes very important. Getzlaf circling the wagons before he takes the draw. He wants to tell Lindholm and Beauchemin what he's going to do with it, or what he wants to do with it, as he'll oppose Vermette in the ring to the right of Jonas Hiller. 15 and a half to go, and Vermette controls. Ribeiro off the left wing half wall, brings it into the middle, right at the side of the net. Doan feeds it out high. One-timer by Yandel is blocked out of the box. Silverberg, diving effort by Getzlaf to poke it ahead to him. He'll track it down deep in the zone, but no angle to get to the net. Feeds it in front, and off the bench, unable to handle the pass was Winnick to get the shot away. As Anaheim in mid-change. Minute and a half now remains in the Cogliano penalty as Ribeiro gives it back to Vermette into the zone. He puts it into the middle. Winnick clears to the point, knocked down, however. Nice recovery by Beauchemin, who gets it back and gives him the second chance to ice it.
Well, just outstanding penalty killing. They get a huge block on the kill when they're on the 5-on-3, and then from that point, the pressure of the Ducks penalty killers have forced all kinds of turnovers.
Allen angles it off the boards, and it's Emerson Edom to center. Keeps his balance as he keeps possession. Tries to split the D, but Smith will come out and play it away. Under a minute to go on Cogliano's slashing minor as Ribeiro dangles his way in. Lays it off to the near boards, taken off the wall by Schlemko. Across for Morris. The Coyotes are set up, tied at 1 in the third. Morris calling for it. One-timer rattles the high glass. Schlemko all the way below the goal line, loses it to Fowler, tried to make a pass up the middle as Edom started to head up ice, and instead the Coyotes keep it in. Morris drifts back at the line. He'll get the pass. Can't one-time it. Settles it. Gives it to Schlemko. No shooting lane for him now. He'll take the shot side of the net, trying to set up Ribeiro. Bonino battles him to the corner. Up the wall. It'll come to Morris. Walks the line. Fakes the shot. Back to Ribeiro. 5 seconds in the power play. Whips it down low through the crease. Looking for Schlemko. Gloved off by Hiller. 1 second left in the power play.
Yeah, he's not going to get credit for a save there, but believe me, that's a big play. Here's that blocked shot by Ryan Getzlaf. It was just huge, and the 5-on-3 prevented the Coyotes from getting the puck through to the front of the net when they had numbers and almost able to get that puck to Silverberg in stride. And see, this is a Jonas Hiller, the right-handed catching goaltender there, that makes a big play with the right hand.
The Ducks try to catch Cogliano coming out of the box. The pass was tipped. It made him offside. Anaheim 6 for 6 on the penalty kill now. A big part of the reason it's still tied.
On any given night, Bruce Boudreau will tell you if you have one of your special teams groups excelling, you can win a hockey game. And tonight it's been the Ducks penalty kill. They're a perfect 6 for 6. They've only yielded 7 shots on goal, despite the fact that they have faced a 5-on-3 power play as well. And of those 7 shots, we would only characterize 2 of them as grade A scoring opportunities. So great job by the penalty killers in this hockey game.
Getzlaf into the Phoenix zone, loses the handle as he tries to bring it into the middle. Tries to bull his way there. Jeff Halpern the other way. 14-year veteran now with his 7th different NHL team, the well-traveled Halpern. Years ago played his college hockey at Princeton University. And they're Ivy League.
Never drafted.
Actually from just outside Washington, D.C. Played the majority of his career with his hometown Capitals. Became their captain at one point. Perry with a good bit of forechecking there, nearly stripping it away from Ekman-Larsson, who lobs it to center. And a great play by Lindholm as he was inadvertently tripped up by Doan. And from the seat of his pants, still able to make the play, not only with the glove, but then with the stick. Klinkhammer drops it for Doan. Gets it through, and a good save by Hiller. Squirts free to Penner, who just flips it to center ice.
Just thinking about Hampus Lindholm, and we don't play a lot of baseball in Sweden. But that was a good recovery by the center fielder.
And I wonder with Shane Doan, the 18-year veteran, on the 19-year-old, how inadvertent it may have been. Klesla gets it through from the point. I don't know if Hiller could see it, and the Coyotes have their first lead of the night.
It seemed almost inevitable, didn't it? We'll see if this puck changes direction, goes back to the point. There's all kinds of traffic in front, and does Klinkhammer get a little touch on that puck? I think he might have.
Good look here.
There's the shot by Klesla. Oh, you know what? It goes off of Brian Allen, off of the right knee of Brian Allen and up into the top corner, so no chance whatsoever for Jonas Hiller on the Klesla redirected shot.
Just his 4th game of the year. And Klesla, with 12:06 to play, has given the Coyotes a 2-1 advantage. Now there has to be some urgency in the Anaheim game as they trail for the first time tonight. Lovejoy with a pass into the middle. Winnick forced wide, and it's deflected to the corner. Cogliano battling with Mikhail Bodker. It squirts to the slot, but dropping all the way down to get there is Radim Vrbata, who just angles it into the Anaheim zone. Lovejoy on his horse to get it. Snaps it to the near side. Koivu with that short pass to Fowler. He's in full flight, and offside is Cogliano.
That was a nice pass by Lovejoy to Koivu, who just drills that outlet pass. Be interesting to see what Boudreau does with the lines. For the most part, John, he has not made a lot of changes in his forward lines in this game.
And actually, for the last 2 games,
yeah,
and that's a long time for Bruce.
It really is. Normally, he has a pretty quick trigger in terms of juggling up his groupings, but
he stays with the second line combination of Perreault, Solani, and Silverberg here. Chipchura wins the draw. And here's Klesla. Moments ago, his first of the year, the difference in the hockey game. He puts it up on the glass and into the Anaheim zone. After a number of strange bounces, it ends up in the corner. Perreault drops down to help out and finds Teemu Solani. Ahead for Silverberg, and it's chopped into the Anaheim bench in neutral ice. I'll be sure to catch Travis Rogers as he anchors the only live and local morning show in Orange County. It's weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on AM 830. For details, visit am830.net. 11:11 to go. Third period shots 30-29 in favor of Anaheim. 2-1 Phoenix on top. Bonino wins the draw at center. Boschma gets it in with a little help on a touch from Kyle Palmieri. Palmieri and Edom converge in the corner on McCulloch, who does a good job to keep the puck in Phoenix possession, and now gets it back from Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Ekman-Larsson is just so poised, isn't he? I mean, he does not panic when he gets the puck.
Here's a turnover, and Palmieri's shot glancing wide off the stick of McCulloch, and now the net tumbles over on top of Mike Smith. Maybe a little help from Palmieri, as well as Zdeněk McCulloch. And I think they're going to take this face-off outside the blue line.
Well, unfortunately for Anaheim, it costs them an offensive chance. And you can see that Kyle Palmieri with a shove into the back of McCulloch. McCulloch's a big boy, and He helps it along.
Yeah, that might be a smart play on his part, as you mentioned, with pressure in the defensive zone.
And the referee rules because it was Palmieri that pushed McCulloch into the net. The faceoff will come outside the blue line. So the Ducks had full possession back at the point, so a little bit of a lost opportunity there for Anaheim.
Nick Bonino to take the draw against Vermette. And Vermette controls. Broke his stick in the process. He'll go to the bench and get another as the Coyotes bring it out of their own zone. Pass broken up nicely by Bonino in the neutral zone, and he storms back in with Palmieri. Long shot is deflected out of play off the stick of Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
This is a really well-trained defensive team, the Coyotes. So you see a lot of consistency from how they approach players when they do have possession of the puck and they're defending. They're always leading with their stick. Very, very aggressive. You know they don't want to take penalties, so they're not reaching. It's like a piston, that one hand on the stick, and they just keep poking at the puck. They deflect so many pucks out of play. It's incredible.
Well, look no further than Dave Tippett behind their bench to know this is a very good defensive hockey team. That's always been one of the trademarks of his clubs, both in Dallas and in Phoenix. And we got a shot on the bench a moment ago. He was talking, his assistant coach just to his right there was Newell Brown whispering in his ear. Of course, Duck fans will remember Newell from his days as an assistant coach here, as a member of the coaching staff in that Stanley Cup season of 2007, along with Dave Farish, like working with Randy Carlyle.
You have a little sunburn on Neil.
It happens when you live in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Good to see Newell, one of the all-time good guys. Pass through center is errant. This will be an icing call on the Coyotes. Klinkhammer would have gotten to it first as it came around the boards, but first man to the dot is the ruling there.
I think the linesman got that one wrong, too. I mean, the linesmen have to make the determination as the puck crosses the hash mark. But it's the one flaw, if you will, in the hybrid icing rule. I don't like rules that require discretion on the part of the officials.
And I'm wondering, Brian,
I like cut and dry.
And I'm wondering, I'm with you. I'm wondering if I'm going to see something as we get a penalty here off the faceoff as the season goes along. Am I going to see something that's going to change my mind? Because I'm not crazy about it.
No, I don't think that you are.
I think you're right.
You know, it's a safety issue first and foremost. And I forget which general manager it was, but he said, watch Vermette in the centerman of the faceoff circle. He upends Dustin Penner, and that's going to cost him 2. So this time kind of a marginal call against Vermette gives the Ducks a chance. And boy, what a time this would be for the power play to get one.
And Phoenix loses their best faceoff man in the process. Vermette had won 17 of 22 draws to this point. And right on cue, Getzlaf wins the faceoff to begin the power play. Solani sweeps it along. Getzlaf beat Halpern to it. Gets it back to Vatanen. Walks the line. Wrist shot got through. I don't think Smith ever saw it.
He did not.
It went wide. Solani keeps it alive. Halpern without a stick. And it's kicked away from him. Vatanen holds the line. Back to Getzlaf. Getzlaf takes the shot. Big rebound. Bounces away from him to the boards, but he gets it back. McCulloch goes after it in the corner. And now without a stick, Halpern, smart play, gloves it into the middle of the ice. That'll enable the Coyotes to clear.
Really smart play.
Oh, Korpikoski delivers a pretty good slash to Vatanen as the two of them battle back in the Anaheim zone. Fowler winds and fires. Smith can't get a piece of it behind the goal. Solani spins his man around. Hansel comes up with it and lobs it out of harm's way. A minute gone in the Vermette penalty, and Hiller comes out, protects the puck from David Moss. Vatanen uses the net to shield the puck. Makes a short pass to Perreault. Silverberg gets it in. Gets it back, leaves it for Perreault in the corner. Wanted to go back up the boards, instead it's to the middle, and Moss clears easily.
Yep, the Coyotes are just outnumbering the Ducks and winning battles in the corners in the defensive zone.
Lindholm moves it ahead. Silverberg dumps it to the left corner. After it, Palmieri wins the puck, finds a wide open Lindholm, waits for traffic, kick saved by Smith. Perreault was trying to get to the front of the net for either a redirect or traffic, but Lindholm couldn't wait any longer. The Coyotes clear, and maybe one more rush. Under 10 seconds to go in the power play. Lindholm feeds it ahead. And stepping into Beauchemin was McCulloch, enabling the Coyotes to clear. That'll do it. The penalty is over to Vermette. Phoenix full strength.
And a great penalty killing by Phoenix. The Ducks get to no rebounds, and the Coyotes win a lot of battles down low. That's not surprising, John. They've got a very mobile defense, and they got some pretty good size back there as well. But McCulloch in particular was terrific on that last penalty kill.
Anaheim now 0 for 4 on the power play tonight as Fowler comes up with it in the corner and leads it out of the zone a little too tall for Emerson Edom. Down to 7.5 to go, third period. Phoenix on top 2-1, and we get an icing call.
Yeah, that's a mistake by Schlemko. So a bad icing by Schlemko. An offensive zone faceoff is an opportunity here for Anaheim. And now we're starting to see Boudreau shuffle some of his lines.
This team separated by a point in the early season Pacific Division standings. Ducks coming into tonight had played the fewest games of any team in the Western Conference. Watch how low Matthew Perreault gets on this faceoff, and he wins it. Fowler winds and fires. It's deflected and just flutters to the corner. Perreault gets it back. Again, it's Lovejoy from the point, and that's blocked. Fowler gets to it first. Up the wall for Solani. Teemu hits the brakes. Draws pressure into the middle. Perreault gets it to Fowler. Wide open is Lovejoy, looking for a tip, and it got through to Smith, who made the stop. And again, icing will be the call against the Coyotes.
You know, if I'm Anaheim, I get a fresh line over the boards, and I drop that puck in a hurry. Here's the shot by Ben Lovejoy, and big rebound for Mike Smith, but the Ducks have not been getting to the rebounds, John.
Rebounds, Brian.
And we're going to see a timeout here from Dave Tippett. That's no surprise.
Here, yeah.
Consecutive icings, he knew that his team was gassed, so a smart play by the head coach of the Coyotes.
Tippett, when the ownership change was made, was given a 5-year contract extension. That back in late June, as was a contract extension handed to general manager Don Maloney, who's done just I think a wonderful job under a lot of duress, especially from an organizational standpoint. And they both were rewarded for their patience as much as anything, I think, as well.
The Coyotes coming into tonight's game are riding a 3-game road win streak, including wins 4-2 in Detroit, 2-1 in Philly, and 5-3 in Carolina. So there's a lot of structure to a Dave Tippett coach team. They're known as a club that doesn't give you a lot. They bend, but quite often don't break if they get the kind of goaltending like they've had tonight from Mike Smith. And they're well positioned again here at Honda Center.
They gave up the third most shots per game a season ago when you talk about that bend but don't break. And they're giving up more shots in the early going this season, nearly 34 a game. Anaheim already with 32 shots here, but they trail 2-1 as Klinkhammer off the timeout tries to bust into the Anaheim zone. Vermette had his stick knocked out of his hands by Corey Perry, but he made the catch in midair to keep the play going. I don't know if that was an infield fly rule or whether he made a fair catch on that, but it was a good catch. Getzlaf takes the drop pass from Perry into the Phoenix zone, and it's scaled up the glass and out by Doan. This won't go far enough for icing as Brian Allen chases it down. Lovejoy quick to move it up. Getzlaf takes it off the skate at center. Right on the tape for Perry. In full stride into the Phoenix zone, poked off his stick. Good defensive play. Boy, Zbynek McCulloch has played a wonderful game tonight for the Coyotes. He'll head to the bench and get a change, but it was just a quick little stick there as he knocked it off Perry's stick, and again, Anaheim forced to go 200 feet. 2-1, Phoenix leads it under 6 to go. Koivu gets the dump inside of the net for Winnick. Took it behind the net. Hansel roughs him up there, enabling the Coyotes to clear. Back at center, it's Verbata who dumps it in, and the shifts are getting shorter for the red and white clad Coyotes.
Yeah, and just one forechecker right now, so lots of bodies back in the neutral zone.
Beauchemin hammers it in from center ice, and Smith sends it right back. Lindholm has to settle a bouncing puck. Gets it back from Cogliano, moves it quickly. Bonino gets it in, but Smith is there. And when he handles it, that's like a third defenseman. Lobbed out by Derek Morris. Again, it won't go far enough for icing. Oshima reverses it up the boards, and it's hammered wide by Korpikoski. Moss dumps it in. Waiting for it is Hiller behind the goal. Clock winds to under 5 minutes. As Lindholm into the middle for Palmieri. Got a stick on it, left it there for Edom, and a save made by Smith. Deep in his goal crease. Emerson Edom with speed, creating a chance. The Ducks will need more of that down the stretch.
Here's what the Ducks have to deal with. Always 4 men back. I've circled Zbynek McCulloch in the middle. He knows that he has all kind of support. Look how close he gets to Ryan Getzlaf. He knows where the puck is going. He knows it's going to 15. So he closes on him immediately, pinches him off. And now because they have those numbers surrounding the puck, they regain possession, they exit the zone easily. And that to me is why Phoenix is just so darn good at protecting leads. They always err on the side of caution. They never get caught deep. They always have numbers coming back. And it sure makes life a lot easier for their defensemen in terms of getting a read on when to stand up and take the body on people.
I mentioned it a moment ago, Brian. I think McCulloch's been terrific in this game.
He's been a star in this game.
Coyotes.
Yep.
Undrafted out of the Czech Republic. Spent a couple of years playing in the Quebec League. McCulloch has always been amongst the league leaders in blocked shots. And Dave Tippett's go-to matchup defenseman in this one here tonight. Fowler behind the Anaheim goal. Up the boards trying to get it to Solani, and Halpern steps in front of him. Cam gets it back. He'll try the other side as he gets help from Lovejoy. Perreault, the open man, and again the pass intended for Solani. He's able to swat it just inside the Phoenix line. Lobbed back where Lindholm is forced to retreat as the Ducks were in mid-change. Now he gets the legs moving into the Phoenix zone. Drops it for Solani. Pass across, broken up. Schlemko got his stick on it. Perreault behind the net, loses the handle, spun around, chips it to the corner. Solani trying to protect the puck, knocked down there. Gets back up, has it along the dasher. Perreault joins the fray, comes away with it. Up the wall comes Lindholm. Silverberg behind the net for Solani. Tied up there by Schlemko. Puck dug free. Oshima tries to center. That was blocked by Klesla, and nobody home at the left point, so Lindholm has to hinge over, and he gets a piece of it as he battles Moss all the way back into the Anaheim end. Uses the net nicely. And here he comes to center. Coast to coast, hands it off to Perry. Back for Lindholm, broken up on the back check by Bravada. Excuse me, it's Hansel who did that, and Klinkhammer clears the zone. Falls over Palmieri's stick and gets up and flips it in. Time becoming an issue. Just over 3 to go as Getzlaf has it at center. Puts his head down, makes a move on Ekman Larsson from the hash mark on the boards, throws it towards the net, deflected behind the goal. Palmieri got a stick on it and got tangled up with the referee. Puck off his skate away to center. So now Palmieri out there for an audition, at least for the moment, with Perry and Getzlaf.
Yep, and again, the Coyotes kind of bottling up that neutral zone, trying to make the Ducks dump it in whenever they can.
Getzlaf fights it inside the zone, but it's kicked across the line. Possible 2-on-1. Here comes Bodker to join the play, and it's deflected away. Nice defensive play by Vatanen. Rifled ahead for Palmieri. Across the line, drop past Perry. On his backhand as he's forced behind the net.
No support. I mean, there's
by
just,
Halpern.
Yep, there's just not enough people around the puck. And as a result, the Coyotes are getting to pucks in the defensive zone. Now they ice this one. This is a break for Anaheim. And remember, Dave Tippett has used his timeout.
Yeah.
You look out onto the ice, and I see 2 Phoenix players kind of bent over with their shaft of the stick on their knees. That's usually an indication that they're pretty tuckered out. Big drop.
It'll be Halpern to oppose Koivu, who's now tossed. Bonino will take his spot. Halpern's been good tonight in the faceoff circle, but Bonino wins this one. Oshima throws it to the net off a shin guard, and it goes straight up in the air. No one knew where it was. Halpern and Koivu battle for it on the far boards. Bonino gets to it, put it off the side of the net. Played up the near side. Point coverage from Bonino. Throws it to the net. He scores! Smith never saw it. Now that's clean living.
This is a lob.
I believe they call it a floater.
Oh, my goodness. Well, good things happen when you put the puck on net. Watch Nick Bonino. He just kind of snaps it. I will say this, like a Penner. It almost looked like he was thinking about heading that into the net. It's over the head of 6'4" Dustin Penner and into the top corner. What a break for the Ducks.
Well, that's the screen that kept Smith from seeing it. By hook or by crook. They don't ask how, they ask how many, right?
That is one of the strangest goals I've seen in a long time.
Bonino's third of the year with just over 2 minutes to go. Draws the Ducks even. And an icing call again against Phoenix here. Will bring the face-off deep in the Coyote zone. A very popular player in the Anaheim locker room is Nick Bonino, and you know his teammates are going to have a lot of fun with that one as this season moves along.
Well, and this crowd, all of a sudden, it has not had a lot to cheer about in this game. They're energized.
And it's Bonino to take the draw, hit the leg of the linesman. It looked like he may have won the faceoff, but instead the Coyotes clear, and this crowd energized on a Friday night. Tied at 2.
Well, how good, by the way, has Antoine Vermette been in the faceoff circle in this game?
He's been upwards of close to 80%. And now we're down to 90 seconds to go in regulation. Lovejoy reversing it away from pressure, and Fowler now behind the goal. Right back to his defense partner, and there's space up right wing for Lovejoy, who steers it in.
Well, you can't let Mike Smith handle that puck. You just can't.
He did
that situation in the game. It's got to go up on the glass.
Ribeiro able to bring it to center. Across for Morrison, fakes the shot, now makes a pass into the middle. Yandel, his partner, couldn't handle it cleanly. That's a break there. He circles back, throws a wrist shot towards the net. Loose rebound, and Allen pokes it to the corner.
Good recovery there by big Brian Allen.
Now Korpikoski recovers. Ribeiro finds Yandel at the left point. He swings it around the base of the dasher, right back to Ribeiro. Into the middle. Off the skate of Korpikoski, gives it back. Ribeiro looking for Moss, and that's off a stick. Deflected away. Yandel throws it to the net, and a glove save by Hiller, who says, you know what? Let's just get the personnel we want on the ice, and let's make sure everybody knows what they're doing.
And here's that last play where the Coyotes just throw it into a crowd, and in comes Brian Allen. Boy, it helps to have that long reach of Brian Allen. Get back quickly to clear those pucks.
Well, everything now becomes that much more important. Inside a minute to go in a tie game. 2-2 at Honda Center.
That's Vermette again.
And he wins it again. Doan couldn't get the shot through. And it's lifted back to center ice. McCulloch drives it right back in. Brian Allen careful the side of the net. Has pressure. Now it's Allen with Beauchemin in the final minute of a tie game. The Ducks clear, but it's driven right back in by the Desert Dogs. 15 seconds left. Beauchemin finds an open Corey Perry on the near boards. His pass broken up, comes out center. Perry gets it back, gets it deep, under 10 seconds to go. Strange bounce, right in front of the goal and off the side of the net. Shoveled right back through by Getzlaf. Koivu trying to get it to the net as time expires. And I'm telling you what, Mike Smith is wondering what's going on in the last couple of minutes.
Oh, my goodness. Now, if the Ducks had got a stick on that one, that would have been a finish to end all finishes. But it's Nick Bonino's lob shot over the head of Penner, right into the top corner. My goodness.
Well, Brian, for the second time this season, Bruce Boudreau's team goes to overtime as they score late to force bonus hockey with the Phoenix Coyotes.
This should be a fun overtime because you look at the Coyotes, they got Ekman Larsson and they got Yandel. You look at the Ducks with Lindholm and Fowler and Vatanen.
Yeah.
You know, both of these clubs have got some D men that can really wield the puck and join the rush. It'll be interesting to see how this is played. I mean, the Ducks have got to feel like they stole a point here by getting that goal late against this defensive effort that the Coyotes were putting forth in tonight's game. Do they go for it, or do they just kind of hang back and get it to the shootout?
Well, the Coyotes lost their only foray into overtime. That was in their last outing on Tuesday when Ottawa beat them 4-3 in Glendale. There's Perry right off the draw with Getzlaf, and Vermette with a good recovery to get back. Anaheim's only overtime game was a 4-3 win at Minnesota. Second game of the season will be 2 weeks ago tomorrow when Matthew Perreault scored in the final 5 seconds to win it. Lovejoy under a little bit of duress, hands it off to Getzlaf. Always calm, cool, and collected. He rifles it across for Fowler. 3 abreast at the line of the Ducks, and the pass across, handcuffed Cogliano. Blockered away by Smith. Cogliano follows up, knocks it loose. He and Koivu staying in the offensive zone as Korpikoski off the bench, forced to give it back to McCulloch. He reverses it away. Good pressure here from Koivu and Cogliano. And the Coyotes hemmed in their own zone.
Yeah, nice job. They get nothing going. It's exhausting work. A lot of stops and starts.
Koivu strips Korpikoski. To the net goes Cogliano. Instead, he tried to rag it back to Beauchemin. No passing lane as Ribeiro got in the way. Mike Ribeiro, former Canadian, Dallas Star. Now hands it off. Here's Yandel offside and a late whistle as Hiller made the save nonetheless.
Mike Ribeiro, there's like no speed at all in the neutral zone. He's just so shifty. He's kind of moving, wandering through the neutral zone, I'll call it. But, you know, he's got his head up. He's waiting for support. He's waiting for fresh troops off of the bench. Comes close to generating a pretty good chance for Yandel.
Just over a minute into overtime. Beauchemin forced from behind his own goal, moves it away from Yandel, and he finds Hampus Lindholm. Across the line with Silverberg. Perreault's the trailer. He gets the pass. Matthew Perreault pulls it in, fires it, and hugging that far post was Smith, who then gloves it off of his chest protector.
I like this play by Perreault. You know, this is the one knee down technique for goaltenders. Watch Mike Smith. Once that puck gets into an area on the ice about 3 feet below the face-off dot, big, tall goaltenders will go down onto the one knee there because they're just protecting the short side. But I still like the play because if there is a rebound, quite often the rebound bounces right back out in front of the goal crease when a goaltender angles his body that way.
And he's a big, tall goaltender, as you mentioned, 6'4", Mike Smith. And now Allen and Vatanen, the defense pairing, as Solani breaks up a play in the Phoenix zone. His stick was tied up. Couldn't get the puck back, and now Morris flushed behind the goal by Teemu. Fans wanted a penalty call as he leads it up the left side. Halpern for Moss. Former Calgary Flame with a long wrist shot that Hiller easily handles. Down to 2:52 to go in overtime. Tied at 2 at Honda Center.
I'll give that shot up all night. I mean, that's not... Hiller's like a first baseman waiting for the routine throw from the shortstop. Little snapshot from beyond the top of the circle.
You think Solani's in this game? You see him parking at the officials. That's one of the telltale signs that Teemu is fully engaged. Face off to the left of Hiller. And Anaheim controls. Koivu worked it to the boards. And Fowler and Lovejoy play catch. Perreault now joined by Penner, who can't field the pass cleanly at the blue line. And it ricochets away. Perreault, good recovery and neutral ice, and he finds Fowler. He finds space. Across the line with Penner. Back for Fowler, knocked out of midair. Gloved down by Doan, who angles it out of harm's way.
And now it's the Ducks attacking.
Yeah, energized by the late goal from Bonino. Lovejoy feeds it down low. Smith turned it right back into Perreault there. That's too shifty for his own good. Smith does have an assist this season. He loves to play the puck. Korpikoski finds the trailer. A lot of room for Ekman-Larsson. And that's off the glove of Hiller and out of play. Not the guy you want to give a path right down Main Street to the goal.
Yeah, he's coming late, and he's got a lane. And that's a good, quick shot. You can see that Jonas Hiller just waves at it with the right hand and gets just a little piece of it with the heel of the catching glove. It's a good stop by Hiller.
Ekman-Larsson stays out along with McCulloch. Ribeiro to take the draw, and he wins it back to Ekman-Larsson. Spins it around the dasher. Korpikoski from behind the net. Engaged by Lindholm. The puck will come around and out. McCulloch pressured. And Bonino nearly took it away. He was just out there as a secondary face-off option, but he very nearly came up with a scoring chance. Now Ekman Larsson turns it over in the neutral zone. Lindholm gives it to Getzlaf. Busts into the Phoenix zone. Weaves his way down low. Pass across. Trying to find Beauchemin. He nearly got to it. Getzlaf gets it back, and his pass across broken up, still loose in the slot. And finally, the Coyotes come up with it and skated out of harm's way. Korpikoski unable to receive the pass. Oh, I thought they might call that icing. Instead, play goes on.
How about the confidence Boudreau was showing in Hampus Lindholm? Why not?
Yep. His pass off the stick of Getzlaf goes deep in the zone. Morris protecting it away from Corey Perry. Under a minute to go in the extra session. This one will roll back to Hiller, who shovels it away for Fowler. He does a good job to reverse it and find Lovejoy. Ben Lovejoy right back for Fowler, off his stick deep into the Phoenix zone, but Anaheim changing. Perhaps the final change of overtime. 35 seconds left. Morris stretches it for Hansel. Almost looked like he didn't think he was onside. He let up for a little bit, then he played on. Fowler dropped down, found Perry. Perry's pass splits three different players before it finds Perreault on the near side into the middle. Ahead to Perry, who tips it across the line and gets it himself. Trying to get it to the net from a bad angle, put it right into the crease. Swept away by Smith. Fowler keeps it in under 10 seconds to go in overtime. Perry and Perreault down low, battle for it. Perreault wins the puck. Perry throws it towards the net. It comes to Fowler on the backhand. A kick saved by Smith as the horn sounds.
A funny game, isn't it? I mean, the Ducks dominate the overtime session, get a couple of real good scoring chances. Mike Smith sensational in this hockey game, but we're heading to the shootout. And the Ducks, who at one point must have felt like they stole a point, now have an opportunity to get that second one.
We'll find out when we return to Honda Center. For the first time this season, we are going to a shootout as the Ducks and Coyotes tied at 2 in the overtime. A couple of great chances for Anaheim. First, Getzlaf trying to find his defenseman, Francois Beauchemin, coming off the right point, but Ekman Larsson got a piece of that. And this in the waning seconds as Cam Fowler comes up with a long rebound and Mike Smith forced to make one final save. We haven't talked about one of the bullets Anaheim has in their shootout gun this season. Brian, you were talking the other day at practice. Jakob Silfverberg had some pretty nice numbers last year in Ottawa.
Yeah, I don't know if Bruce Boudreau is aware of that. I can tell you this much. The Ducks have been spending a lot more time at the end of practice practicing breakaways. And so Boudreau has been paying very close attention to that. Every point is so important. This is one of those situations where you know the rest of the Western Conference is just kind of sighing right now, realizing that this is another three-point game. So it's Nick Bonino, the hero here, with a late goal. Strange looking goal, and I think Bonino is going to be the first shooter for Bruce Boudreau.
Yeah, he is. Ryan Getzlaf would be second. Corey Perry, we are told, will be the third shooter. On the Phoenix side of things, Mikhail Bodker will lead off, followed by Radim Bravada and Mike Ribeiro. That is the lineup we've been given for the three-shooter shootout to decide which team skates out of here with 2 points. Jonas Hiller appearing against the Coyotes for the 26th time in his career. Was solid in goal tonight. 30 saves for the Ducks. Mike Smith, 37 stops at the other end.
You know, and in talking about Hiller, I mean, we don't know the extent of the injury to Victor Foss. Every inclination is that it's not a serious injury, but we don't know. And with the Ducks playing one more home game on Sunday against Dallas before heading out onto the road, it's nice to have a guy who's really in the zone the way that Hiller is.
Nice numbers for Bonino last season in the shootout. I believe he had a couple game winners in there. I remember one in particular in St. Louis. So Bonino with the floater that forced overtime. Now the first shooter in the shootout. He'll approach Mike Smith, who comes way out. And he stops and makes it look easy.
That's why he's there. Head up, handling the puck. Boy, Smith bites, and Bonino comes back and Mike Smith has no chance whatsoever.
How helpful must that be for a goaltender to see the first shooter score for you?
Psychologically, it's huge. Bodker usually comes with speed.
Left-hand shot, he'll swing in off of right wing. And Hiller gets a glove on it.
A huge advantage here now for the Ducks as Michael Bodker tries to go glove side, and you can see that Hiller just squeezes that elbow against the body.
Very good percentages in the career for Ryan Getzlaf. And now it's the first right-hand shooter to approach Mike Smith. Again, he comes aggressively out of his crease, and Getzlaf swings off the right wing. Tries to go back against the grain, but Smith stayed with him.
And Getzlaf and Smith a little bit more familiar with one another, as they would have been part of Team Canada's pre-Olympic training camp this summer. He tries to go 5-hole, and you could see that Smith able to close the wickets.
Verbata with very nice numbers in his career in the skills competition. A right-hand shooter will swing in off of left wing on Hiller. Goes backhand and draws even in the shootout.
He's smooth, isn't he? And, I'm impressed because I thought this puck started to roll on him just a little bit, but you can see the veteran Czech pulls it to the backhand and just hoists it over top of the glove.
So Corey Perry, last season, better than 50%. We've seen him have a lot of success swinging very wide on right wing. A right-hand shot, the third shooter for the Ducks. He'll go straight up the middle. Score!
Shooting all the way. Corey Perry, the right-hander, thinking top of the net. See Mike Smith just drop that glove. He held it high, then he drops it down, and as soon as he does, Corey Perry says, thanks very much. Hiller can get the second point with a big stop here against Mike Ribeiro.
It's up to Ribeiro. Boy, all the shooters with great numbers tonight, and Ribeiro with speed. Needs to score. And he does. Oh, he just got it over the right shoulder of Hiller. He almost turned his back completely to the Anaheim netminder on the way.
Yeah, he is so dangerous. Hoisted up. Oh, well, what a beautiful shot by Mike Ribeiro. Look how quick this is. I mean, this is slow motion, but the negotiation of the puck from backhand to forehand, lightning quick.
So here's Saku Koivu.
He likes to deke. Koivu's favorite move is a deke.
We'll see if he does. Right up the gut he comes. The left-hand shot. Goes backhand and a pad save by Smith. He didn't elevate it, but you got to think he wanted to do here.
Again, trying to go 5-hole, but those leg pads, I thought they were supposed to cut those things down.
Antoine Vermette can win it now for Phoenix. Well, if you mean by adding 2 inches, you mean by cutting them down. Here comes Vermette. And Hiller keeps the Ducks in it.
Oh, boy. I think this puck goes through Jonas Hiller, and he just gets enough of it to deflect it. Yeah, it's through the legs and off the back leg and out the other side. And
see if you can guess who the next Ducks shooter is.
Pretty good guy to have in the 5-hole, isn't it?
Yeah. Here he comes with speed. Score!
Watch the little pump fake here of Teemu Selanne. He's going to freeze Mike Smith. Remember how he dropped his glove for Corey Perry? He does it again. And as soon as he does, that pump fake drops the glove, and then he just picks the top corner.
So Oliver Ekman-Larsson now with the same fate as Ribeiro 2 shooters ago. He needs to score to extend this shootout to a 6th round. If Hiller stops him, the Ducks get the win. Left-hand shooting defenseman weaves his way in and keeps the shootout going.
Oh, what a shot. He changes it up, and he goes top blocker and picks the corner. Watch him pull this puck into his wheelhouse, and he just snaps it. My goodness, what a great shot off the inside of the post and in. And we keep going.
Round 6. And here is Jakob Silfverberg. You mentioned the numbers from a year ago. And the Ducks get their first look at the young man in a shootout. Here he comes in on Smith. Score! That looked pretty good to me.
The release is incredible. I mean, wow. He just zips it.
Boy, the Ducks have abused the top shelf where your mother never dusts on Mike Smith in this shootout. And now the ever-popular Shane Doan will be shooter number 6. They boo him as he approaches. And Hiller wins it.
6 in a row. They find ways to win, this team.
I tell you what, Brian, that last shot we had of the Ducks bench, I know there's a point on the line. I know everybody wants to win, but that was fun in the shootout.
That was a lot of fun. It's always a lot more fun when you come out on the right end of it. The Ducks win 6 in a row. And they move to 6-1. Great stop with the left leg.
And the depth that they have up front at forward comes up big in the shootout.
That's a great point. I mean, when you've got Solani going number 5 and Silverberg going number 6, you've got some talent. This shot, look at that shot by Jakob Silverberg.
It didn't look good for the longest time. They get a late goal from Bonino, and they win it in a shootout. Here's the 3-star selection.
And now, stars of the game is voted by the broadcast media and brought to you by Honda. Tonight's 3rd star of the game, from Phoenix, number 4, Zdeněk McCulloch. Tonight's 2nd star of the game, from the Ducks, number 1, Jonas Hiller. And tonight's 1st star of the game, with a goal from the Ducks, number 8, Teemu Solani.
This one, it seemed like the momentum was back and forth, but in the end, you guys win it when it counts.
Yeah, tonight, we couldn't score in our power play, and that was a big minus. But we fought it through, and again, we found a way to win the game, and that's only what really matters. 2
very good goaltenders out here tonight, but Jonas Hiller, enough can't be said about him.
Oh, yeah, everything starts from the goaltender. We have 2 great goalies who gives us chance to win every night, and Jonas was again outstanding.
Thanks very much for the time. Congratulations. 6 straight wins for the Anaheim Ducks. We'll be back with more Ducks Live right after this. Stay with us.